The Soldier of Fortune games met with a certain degree of success thanks to a solid shooter mechanic mixed with an unnaturally high amount of gore. Well, now the series is returned with Soldier of Fortune Payback, this time on the PC and consoles with all the blood and guts we've come to expect, plus a budget price tag. Is this Soldier of Fortune or filing Chapter 9?
We are well funded. A shrewd businessman like yourself would be generously compensated.
Once again, players take the role of a gun for hire,
I've got a job for you, Thomas.
who during a mission to secure and protect a target gets more than he bargained for. The game then takes players to all kinds of exotic locales in order to shoot lots of bad guys and foil an extremist threat. It's not terribly exciting or original, but then playing Soldier of Fortune for the riveting narrative is a bit like dining at Burger King for the ambiance.
Son of a bitch. You knew the missed shithead. I just wish I could feel bad for killing you.
Soldier of Fortune Payback is a by-the-numbers shooter through and through. There are no surprises here. At the outset of each mission, players can choose which weapons to take into battle, like assault rifles, machine guns, pistols, and several kinds of grenades. Players can further customize their weapons by attaching things like scopes for greater zoom or grips to steady the aim. As you mosey through the dozen or so missions, you'll blast your way past tons of bad guys, all of whom have a puzzling tendency to lose their limbs if you so much as look at them funny. Occasionally, you'll come up against bosses who take an ungodly number of rounds to dispatch. Players can also engage in some online shooting, which is comprised of features that have been standard for years and little else. There's deathmatch, capture the flag, and an assault-style team match. But with only a handful of maps and practically no one playing the game online, it's hard to get excited about it. For a budget-priced game, Payback hits all the requisite targets, but never strays outside the safe zone. Even with a rather typical feature list, Soldier of Fortune could have been a pretty good time if it actually played well. Movement and shooting is smooth and precise, but the level design and the enemy AI make the game simultaneously boring and frustrating. The problem with the levels is that they're linear to a fault. While some places, like the jungle mission, appear to be slightly open-ended, inevitably the player is reined in and shunted down a narrow path where a bunch of bad guys lie in wait. Dealing with these bad guys is the most frustrating part of the game. Enemy placement appears designed to get the drop on you no matter how careful you are. They'll either start firing on you from some unknown hiding place or mysteriously appear from behind, making it way too hard and certainly way too cheap. Even though the game is difficult, the bad guys are far from smart. More often than not, they'll charge right at you and attempt to rifle butt you to death. It's an odd tactic, especially since you can usually drop them long before they reach you. As you trudge from area to area, Payback quickly starts to feel like some perverse kind of shooter purgatory, where you dutifully wander about, dispatching enemies until you forget just why you're doing any of it to begin with. Of course, the only reason you're probably playing Soldier of Fortune is to gawk at the ridiculous damage model. No matter what weapon you choose, you'll see heads and limbs popping off with alarming regularity, along with the spillage of several hundred gallons of virtual blood. It's not gory so much as it is comical, like the Black Knight scene from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It also gets old really fast. After the first mission, the gore gimmick ceases to be a factor in how much you might enjoy the game. The rest of the graphics look surprisingly good. The game is convincing lighting and shadows, the water looks great, and the characters animate well. But it's nothing we haven't seen in every other modern shooter over the last 2 years or so. Soldier of Fortune Payback is a one-trick pony of blood and guts. And if that's your thing, you might be able to overlook the generic shooting mechanic, enemy AI that's cheap and stupid, and dull level design. But we